Hello, my name is Bradley Baker, Commissioner of the LWF, but today we're not talking behind characters, and my name's Kyle, and we're going to have a very important conversation with my guest, the St Helens Love Machine, Buster Ellis. Buster.
Hello, thanks for having me for this very first special.
We don't even know what it's called.
We don't even know, but we're just rolling with it and seeing what goes. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I am the St Helens Love Machine, in character that is, but outside the ring, I'm Jonathan Ellis. That's my real name. So
look at that, keeping the surname. Not like me.
Same.
I got rid of an entire name for wrestling.
People are going to be googling me later.
I think it's important that that sort of distinction between the character and the person, though, because whilst they are often very interlinked, they are two very distinct things. The wrestling side of it, I get quite awkward. I did a very little incident at training the other day, and I hurt my hand, and so I might have had to go to hospital. I thought, I can't be telling them how I did it. So no, thank you. So we're here to talk about, I think you wanted to do this as much as we wanted to do this, and we're here to talk about effectively your journey back, because we're sitting here a few weeks away from your return to wrestling. So we say we start with sort of maybe a whistle-stop tour of what you've done to get to this point, or to get to the point where you maybe left wrestling for a little bit of time. Yeah,
well, in all honesty, probably at this point last year, there was no plans for me to come back at all, to be fair. I just didn't think I had it in me confidence-wise. There was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and but here we are, back in the wonderful LWF Wrestling Federation facility. Here we are, and exciting times. We're all on the 6th of September.
I know it'll be good. You say, I think everybody's excited to see you back as well, because like you said, you were gone for a while, and 12 months ago, like you just said there were no plans at all from you to come back. So I think, so how did that get going, the actual coming back? Because I think that's a massive story to tell, is you actually getting that confidence to go, do you know what, I'll put them boots back on and give it another go.
Yeah, well, I think earlier on this year I got a message from Dave to offer me a Rumble spot, and at the time I kind of turned it down because I didn't want to commit to something and then chicken out. But then I don't know, I sat down one day and I was just like, you know what, I'm nearly 33 now. Well, I am 33 now, but so if I'm going to do it, I think now's the time to do it. And I initially came back, I said, I'll just come and do a training session. I won't put any pressure on and just see how I get on. And of course, on the way to training, I had all them negative thoughts in my mind of, what if I don't enjoy it anymore? That was my biggest fear, really. What if, I hurt someone because I've not wrestled for so long? And all them negative thoughts that, which are probably normal, I suppose, in some ways for being out so long. So, yeah.
And how long were you out in total?
December 2024, that was my last show. And then I come back, I think sometime in May, started training again. So
it's quite. You can understand why those thoughts sort of cropped up about the sort of just all of the normal things and normal sort of issues that you'd have. I mean, I think anybody that takes any time away. I remember over the Christmas break where the facility shuts down for a few weeks to give everyone a bit of a break. I remember coming back in January thinking, I can't back bump anymore. I feel like I've never done it. What is this?
Oh, that first bump, the first back bump when I come back. Oh, that was bloody hell. I was feeling that the next day. For how much that hurt.
Oh, you say, I bet your neck were feeling it as well the next day. That's always it gets me.
It was definitely. My knees were sore. It was just, yeah. But I loved it.
I was going to say, that's the important thing. Obviously, you kept coming back then and the training, and he said, like you said, here you are. So obviously, you went off in December 24. What was the catalyst for sort of going off and taking that time away? Because I imagine that you would have had maybe opportunities that came up quickly after taking that step away. So what drove that?
I noticed it was like towards the back end of 2023. Just before every show day, I started throwing up before every show, and at first I just thought, it's just nerves. I'll get, I'm sure it's normal, I suppose, to be a bit anxious, but then it started going into my personal life as well. I couldn't go out and have a meal with friends because I'd throw it up straight away. I couldn't go to the cinema. Just too anxiety provoking. I think looking back, it was probably a mixture of things, but a lot of it was probably down to some medication I was on at the time, just wasn't agreeing with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot, and but I felt absolutely dreadful because I just effectively turned into a bad guy and just disappeared off the face of the earth. So yeah, I felt really rubbish about that, but I was supported so much through that. So yeah, thanks to LWF for doing that. That was amazing. Paul kept in touch. So
yeah, and I think that's the thing, because I think a lot of people do have the struggles like that. They don't really realise what's going on until it's too late, I think, as well. Sort of personally, I've had incidents before where if you can see the warning signs, you know what's coming, you can take those steps. But like you say, it sounds there that each step was just I'll be all right next time, it'll be fine, until that, like you say, it moved on to the cinema. I think somebody who'll have watched you wrestle at any point in your wrestling career to know that you at one point couldn't go to the cinema because you were feeling too anxious about that's got to be a massive thing for anyone. But it's got to help them as well understand that it can happen to anybody, because the moment those lights come on and the show's there, you do fall into a character, I can hide behind it, which is why at the start we thought very important to try and strip that back a little bit, because we're not behind that all of the time.
No, definitely. I also as well, I kind of thought of it in the form of that, my matches weren't probably wasn't at my best. Well, I wouldn't say the worst, but at the same time, with me not having any energy to do anything, throwing up that much, that I kind of thought, this is not great, because I've got, in wrestling you got to look after your opponents as well as yourself. It's so I decided that was another thing really why I decided to take some steps.
Yeah, just that protective instinct of somebody else, because like you said, that it is. Say this all the time, people will turn around to you and go, well, it's not really. And you're like, no, it does hurt, and it can go wrong.
Oh, it does, absolutely.
You pick up various little injuries and they hurt big enough, and you say the bits where you're doing it properly still hurts a lot. So I think, like you say, you went through that, and sort of how long was that going leading up to, the sort of, was the cinema stuff, had that started after you stopped wrestling, or was that before you stopped wrestling? When was that happening?
It would have been I'd say it was before, wrestling, even before then, for years I'd go the cinema always on my own, and I'd go and eat in restaurants on my own. It sounds a bit sad, but I just I think
it's your thing.
If you've got the confidence to do that's brilliant.
That's it. I wouldn't mind a meal alone at times. I've got 3 kids, so it sounds quite nice to me. Does that?
Yeah, that's it's hard work that. Yeah.
But no, you say because that's the thing for me is you look at that and. People would. I think was the last show an LWF one that you did, or was that?
Yeah, it was an LWF one. It was when I turned on the Lancadors, and
I was in the audience. I think I was in the audience for that. I was definitely there. I saw you. I did see you kick them both. Very, very good kick, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I caught Paul with that one.
Listen, if there's one man that can cope with it, it's that man. But no, I would have had no suspicions at the time that you had been through just that bit of it. Leading up to that day, leading up to that match, it never showed, and that's why you say that's part of what this discussion is. It's about highlighting those things where you don't know what's going on in somebody's personal life. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. And the fact of you are one of the most sort of charismatic characters that I've seen in terms of you live and breathe your character. If from what I know of you outside of it, it very much is you ramped up. So it is very much the classic wrestling, turn your dial up to 11 for yourself. But you live it so much, you would never have ever have known that.
No.
So that again, it's easy. It makes it easier to hide and harder to find out.
It does, and quite a few. I've said that as well. But that morning of the last show that I did before I went off, before I set off to come to the venue, I threw up, and then when I got to the venue, I'd threw up again. So I'd had something to eat, and then I was literally I felt as soon as I got in the ring, I was I just had no energy. It was just I managed to push through, but I was this is not good.
No, it's not. And that's the thing, you want to look forward to it, you want to be able to do that. And sort of, how did you begin the actual journey back in then? Because obviously you say you've wrestled for how long did you say, about 8 or 9 years?
Yeah,
did you say, on and off?
In and out, about 8 or 9 years maybe. like, I think like some of the jobs that I used to do as well, like I really struggled to, you know, get time off for shows and stuff. So I've always been like in and out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so and that's because that's the thing you say. I imagine you've wrestled at a lot of different places. I think around the area and things. So it's not like you would have been short of opportunities to sort of, you know, at least go out and have that crowd experience and those sorts of things. So what was I know you mentioned about coming to the training session in May, but sort of how was it the Rumble spot initially that brought that sort of back to your mind and the LWF, or what was it that made it the LWF that was the one that you thought, I'm going to go back there?
Kind of like a bit of an off like story type of thing, but it actually come about. I lost my grandma last July last year, and when I used to go into like the place that was caring for her, she met like a lovely friend, and she's still going strong. The woman who was sat next to her, and my grandma, you know, introduced me as, oh, my grandson is a pro wrestler, and I'm like, well, I'm not technically at the minute, Grandma, but yeah, I'll go with it. This woman said to me, she went, oh, so when are you going back wrestling? And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm, you know, and then like follow on to like last year, like my mum went to visit my grandma's friend in the place where she was getting cared for, and she asked again. She said like, oh, is Jonathan going back wrestling? And my mum was like, I don't think so, no. And then I just thought, you know what, I'll go and just give it a try and just see what happens. So that's out. Yeah,
it's amazing what prompts you to just go, do you know what, I'm just gonna give it a go. From a personal side as well, I had something similar. I promised to come to watch my first ever LWF show the day that my grandma passed away, and then the day of her funeral I promised to come for my first training session, and I couldn't back out of a promise. And he said that there you find yourself, don't you?
You do.
So it's little things like that just sort of give you that little push.
It is.
And what was it? What had changed for you personally at that time to go, do you know what, mentally I've sort of, you mentioned that medication had changed. I don't know if that had changed or if it was, you know, maybe slightly other things that had sort of come about that sort of give you the personal confidence to.
Yeah, there was about like, not just like my medication did change, you know, like I'm on one that's probably more suitable for me now, but as well I went to Andy's Man Club, that was last November, and that was really difficult, just walking through the door.
Yeah.
But I was really proud of myself for doing that. Like, but it's strange in a way because I found it 10 times easier walking into a room where I don't know anybody and speaking to people I don't know. But it was crazy, really, when you think about it. It was just so much easier.
Yeah, I said that the support. I think Simon, one of the LWF refs, he's heavily involved in Andy's Man Club as well, isn't he? And he's all the ref shirts that we've got now have all got that logo on the arm as well. So
made sure I wear my bracelet today.
There you go. You see, look, and it's just sort of the support networks that are there that, you know, people should take full advantage of those, because, you know, if you are struggling, you are in a place that you're not happy with, or, you know, you just want to try and get out of that place or find that support. It's places like Andy's Man Club, or you know, again, even then your local support networks. You mentioned earlier about sort of disappearing off the face of the earth to many people, and I can completely understand that. There's been personal times where I used to get home from work and it'd be 5:15 in the evening, well, 5:30, and the lights would go off. I'd go to bed, and just easy. When I lived on my own, that's what I did. I make sure I fed the cat, so the cat wasn't annoying me, and I just go and lie in a dark room. But it's so easy to do that you find your own solace, your own bit where you think, if I take my way out of it, it prevents me from sort of, you know, doing things either that you don't feel like you want to do, or pushing yourself, or probably living with a mask. But then you find the right support networks, the right people, and, you know, people like Paul, you know, reaching out to you, and you will then be able to act as that support for other people, you know, once you come, you know, now you've come through that and you're in this place where you're thinking, oh, I'm ready to go. Wrestling for me is one of the weirdest communities I've ever known. It's a very odd, it's meant to be great. I just find it very bizarre.
Yeah, it's a very strange world at times. You get literally, well, that's the thing, you don't know what you're going to get really.
No, and this is, I mean, it's from fans to fellow wrestlers to people who we once had somebody, we did free cake stands. We had once somebody tell us, once somebody told us that the cakes weren't as good one week as they were the week before. We're like, pardon? What do you mean?
I think they definitely deserved a body slam for that. Definitely.
Yeah, it's so I mean, it's just such a. It can be a great supportive place, but you do have to find that home. I think that place where you're comfortable and you can meet really good people along the way, and you know, it seems like, as you say now, I think from what I know of everybody and everybody's thoughts and feelings around yourself and everybody else, like, it's a group of people that are very supportive, and I think it's nice that you've been able to sort of at least find that whilst you get your foothold back into just finding out what you enjoy, because obviously you haven't done a show yet, you know.
No.
It'll be a big moment when you do. What are you hoping for when you come back? What do you think you sort of going to try and do? Or, and I don't mean I'm coming for the title. I just mean what.
Well, I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean,
that's it.
I'll come for all of them. Maybe not the women's one though. It's a bit, yeah. I'll leave that to Maddie.
Yeah, if we can, that's not the women's one just yet. But it's just not like the titles, but sort of, you know, what are you? Have you got any goals coming back into it? Is it just about going and enjoying it?
Yeah, just about like mainly going and enjoying it, but as well as if helping like some of like the younger ones coming through the academy as well. I've put myself in there to, when they do the academy shows, to get in there with some like the new ones as well, just to give them a confidence boost. Because like in training, it's such a supportive atmosphere. Like you see someone coming in and they've got no like confidence and they don't like make noise and stuff. But then when it does come out of them, it's absolutely amazing to see. It's just because I was once like that as well. So like if I can try and help other people, I'd be much happier doing that. And yeah.
Yeah, so that's it's more of you're going to be more of a supportive person in terms of the training. Yeah. That's great, because you say you've got that experience behind you, and that's a lot that people struggle with. I mean, he said everyone will go through that. Can you remember what you felt like walking out for your debut? What were you always the St. Helens Love Machine?
No, I wasn't. But the first persona that I went by was, it's not what it sounds like, Hardcore Johnny.
That's the best wrestling name I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was, but people got mixed up with other things, and you can imagine. So yeah, I kind of stayed away from that, and then I was just Buster Ellis. And funnily enough, the St. Helens Love Machine just come about. I was messing around at training, doing like a promo class, and I think I said along the lines of something, I could be the next Christian Grey.
All saying, this man could be the next Christian Grey.
And next minute, I was searching the internet and I thought, I wonder if I could do this. So I was looking at robes online and I was thinking, you know what's the worst that could happen? People laugh at me, but that's probably a good thing. So I ordered a robe and I just went out to Marvin Gaye, let's get it on, and switched it into Chelsea Dagger because I was still transitioning from, which was a strange combination. But
say that does sound like an odd combination.
And that's the thing, like with like the St. Helens Love Machine, I've had like people outside the rest, like when they see it online, and I post like some ridiculous, like you've seen all the memes that I post. Like some of them are absolutely ridiculous, and some people have said, "Oh, look at this plonker or whatever," like he thinks he's a ladies' man, and I've had people say that to me, but people know me personally. I am far from what I portray in a character. Like I am genuinely afraid of talking to women. I'm being serious. I am absolutely terrified. Like to the point of, I remember my dad saying something to me which was hilarious. He said, "Jonathan, like you would still question if a woman was interested if she was stood in front of you naked. You would still question if she wanted to be with you." And I was like, I'm useless when it comes to signals. And there's times where probably so many expired crushes there that I could have cashed in on, but they've, it's gone now, so they're married and God knows what. So yeah, but get yourself a robe and you'll be all right. Put a robe on, you'll be fine.
That's it. If in doubt, get a robe. Is that the first lesson for the newbies coming through? Just look, whatever your problems are, get a robe.
Yep, exactly. And as well, like I think just like advice to like the new ones as well. Like, don't be afraid of making a fool out of yourself. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, and when like people say things to me, like like they take the mickey out of me and stuff. But I kind of look at now. I try and look at things in everything that happens. I try and look at it in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, and these same people, I'd love to say to them, go and stand in a queue, put a robe on, walk into a room full of 250 people that you don't even know, to George Michael Careless Whisper in the background, throw rose petals in the air, doing Mr. Bean type dance moves, and yeah, let's see you do it, because I bet you 9 times out of 10 probably the people wouldn't.
That is it. I think it'd be a lot higher than 9 times out of 10 as well. They wouldn't do it.
So don't be afraid of making a fool out of yourself, because at the end of the day, people are laughing at you, you're getting a reaction, which means you're doing the right thing. So if you don't get a reaction, well, then there's something to worry about.
Especially when you're coming out like that.
Yeah.
So you talk about there looking at everything in a positive light. It's like, again, is that with everything that you've spoken about, so is that a more recent ability that you've had? Because it is an ability, it is something that you have, it's a toolkit that you have to deploy to try and do that. Is that something that you've learned through your Andy's Man Club, or was it before? Or
yeah, it's kind of like I think like before that, because originally like I used to work in a hospice, looking after people at end of life care. For I only lasted 2.5 years. That was enough for me. That was you know, like that was. I think the one positive, like as hard as it was, the positive that I took away about that was, you know, like never take life for granted.
Yeah.
You know, and I was grateful there that I seen another side, because when I have had dark thoughts, which I think everyone, you know, like some probably won't, you know, admit it, but I think everyone at some point in their life has probably gone, you know what, I don't know if I can carry on.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful in that sense, where I've been, well, I've seen, you know, people who generally want to live and they've not got that option. So that helps me kind of get in that mindset of like, you know, I can get through anything. Just got to keep going. And
yeah, I say, I mean, obviously it's amazing that you can take that away from that, and that you have, because you know, you mentioned there, you've talked about you've talked about your the struggles that you've had personally. You mentioned there about dark thoughts, and I imagine it could be so easy to go either way, because you know, you've got those moments of, well, don't take it for granted, but then the other side of the coin is also very close to that. So you know, you see the fact that you've been able to take that lesson from it and sort of have that in your back pocket as an ability to deal with the tough times that you've obviously been through, is great, because you say, I don't think I could have. It's a wonderful job to have done, but I don't think I could personally have done that. So
no. It was kind of like looking back, it probably wasn't the best direction for me to probably go in, being like, I was 22 or 23 at the time, and you know, when your mates are out on a, you know, Saturday night getting absolutely hammered, and you're, you know, sat holding someone's hand while they, you know, pass away, and you know, so that they're not on their own, and hoping, praying that the family get there in time. It's a totally, but you know, I was able to take something from it, which was a positive as well as rewarding as well. So yeah.
So I think it puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? That actually, when you just talked about, I mean, look how quickly we've gone from making a fool of yourself with a robe to talking about that actually, that first thing isn't the biggest hurdle to get over, and it doesn't mean a great deal. Just go and have a bit of fun with it, which again, it ties us right back to the thing that you said at the start with your anxiety that was going in before show days, and almost like that lesson has got maybe taken away. And I don't know if that was maybe sort of a lack of enjoyment in the wrestling leading up to it. So it was all, you know, once you start on that spiral, it's hard to get off.
Yeah, like I just was like my confidence was like really dipping, and I just it was getting too much for me. But I was glad that I did decide to take time out, because I kind of thought if I would have continued anyway, I probably wouldn't have been able to get everything out, and I don't want to half-ass things, and you know, like I want to be able to give, you know, fans and other wrestlers the, you know, the best that I can. So I think it was the right move for me.
That's good. Take that step back, take that time away, and it's like I say, it is good to do that. And you know, you say you've been, for those eagle-eyed people have seen you at shows recently and getting more involved and doing little bits here and there. So you know, 11 Ups looks like the journey back to being the true St Helens Love Machine is very much underway. So no, it's all been. I think it's been great to know. And I think is maybe anything else that you want to speak about, want to talk about, anything else you want to just go and talk through and have you before we maybe wrap it up.
Like I was like kind of like mention it like when I was coming back, I did start doing the mirror scenario with the different like positive, negative thoughts. Well, I think it was positive and hate, but that was all. Generally, every single thing that I put on that mirror was every single thought that I was probably having at that time, and I was kind of a bit nervous to go down that route because I was kind of thinking, oh, you know, like what will I receive in this? Like,
yeah.
But I always find that sometimes the best things are the things that are real and what come from the heart. I remember watching, it was like back in 2004 when Eddie Guerrero come out, like, and Brock Lesnar was like pulling him down about his like addiction like problems. And
yeah.
I was near enough in tears watching that promo because it just felt so true to the heart. And then I was like rooting for Eddie to beat him, and he did in the end. And that was, yeah. So I always try and think like sometimes it is good to be as real as possible and like go into them emotions because more, you know, I think you can relate to other people as well, and that's, you know, I know we're out there telling stories, but if we can relate to people in the audience, or, you know, that helps a lot better as well.
I think that you know what you've been saying and what I've got from the conversation really is it's all about support. You know, everything is about, you can get through things with the right support and with the right people there, and what you're doing there is peeling back the curtain a little bit to let people into to understand and know how you feel and your feelings, so that gives them the confidence to say, well, if I feel like that, it's okay. And, you know, that's through various different support networks that you've had to get to that point that you can then be that person for other people. So we've mentioned it in the wrestling phrase earlier about you can now be that support, but actually then as a person you can be there for others because you've been to those places that are not great and you've managed to work through them and get the things in place that you need in place to then move to that next step. No, it's great that you think like that as well, because it'd be very easy for you to go back and go, well, I'm fine now.
Yeah, that's what
I'm all right, yeah. I'll get back in, get my Red Rose title back, away we go.
Actually win it properly this time. Not yeah. Oh, God, I remember that.
Yeah. So do I. That was my second ever show as a character, was that. I had only been a character the week before, where I brought Rocky Rottweiler some wrestling biscuits. And then the show after, we were on that cake stand in the corner.
I wish I was on that cake stand that day, to be honest.
Well, that's it. It was great until MRD got thrown through it at a great pace, at a great rate of knots at us. So.
I don't think I seen that. I think I was too busy traumatised by it, winning a belt that I wasn't supposed to.
Those things happen.
Well, it did go wrong, but I managed to cover it well.
It wasn't planned. I think we briefly mentioned before we started filming, actually. I know I talked about wrapping it up, but actually we've opened another little door here, so we might as well go down it. It's the fact that you weren't obviously meant to win that match and win that title. You weren't meant to win that. You were a challenger, and nobody knew where the belt was. That's our only, until you came back, our only real interaction. And I didn't speak to you at that point. I just ran your belt up to the ring for you. Ran back. That'll be on camera somewhere.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember just you know, obviously the guy was wrestling, got injured, which wasn't great. But funny. Well, it's not really a funny story, but I remember because no one was taking charge. So I was like looking at that. If I was a heel, I probably would have at that moment maybe pushed the referee and. Yep. You know, got myself disqualified, because I seen years ago Chris Jericho do that, where like Neville got injured
with his ankle, and he went ballistic, didn't he?
But that's one thing you never taught, like in wrestling, which I know it sounds grim to think about, but you never taught how to respond, like in that type of environment. So I think there should be something actually about that, like just, I mean, not that you want to like wish ill health on anyone, but just like just so you know how to react, because I didn't know what to do, and literally I pinned the guy and I went, "Can you kick out?" And he went, and before I know it. He went no, and before I know it, I won the belt, and Maddie Morgan come out and handed it to me from you. Yeah. And Careless Whisper hit, and it was quite a moment. Not the moment that I really wanted to win a belt.
You could have won the belt. It's not quite the crowning moment you'd hope for.
No, I mean, I can't exactly erase it from history, because even on my return graphic, it come up. There was a former LWF Red Rose champion, so I've got to own it, even though it was only a short time, but. Cody Walters, I'm eyeing you up, pal, so let's keep it warm for me.
Well, that's it. But I think, as you say, those little things of, you know, again, and something else we spoke about, we mentioned just before we started filming, was the fact that opened the door more so than it maybe would have been open for you to be part of the LWF group? Because I remember you getting added to the group chat.
Yeah.
There you go. It's obviously completely unplanned. It's like, well, it's a Red Rose champion now. He's definitely involved. So.
Yeah, well, I think I come into the August to do that match when I ended up winning the belt, and then I wasn't scheduled to come back till December, but then I ended up on I think it was October, November, and then obviously December before I left. So I got, So see, I watched you in that match in October, and the Baker Boys. We were in the crowd. I was dressed as Dumbledore, and Buddy Baker or Michael was dressed as Professor McGonagall. Was that the one where I did the open challenge? I think it was against. I can't remember. It might have been. I think it was my first title defense, which I lost again. So it was, it was an unbelievable. It was an unbelievable day, that one. So yeah, you said, but these things, anything can happen, and I think it's I think the core message from today is find your support networks. Don't be afraid to use them. Yeah, and another one as well, which has kind of helped me at the minute, is like, don't be afraid of what other people think. In reality, like I've tried to do this my whole life. I've kind of, if I've always tried to be liked by every single person, and it's just not possible in life. There is going to be people who, you might not see eye to eye with and stuff, and I used to be quite traumatized. If I found out someone doesn't like me or thinks I'm this or thinks I'm that, and at the end of the day, people are going to think what they want. But as long as you're happy in what you're doing and enjoying it, people take the piss out of me with the St. Tales Love Machine character. It's, you do what makes you happy, and then in the process, if you're making other people happy, then that's all that matters. Don't be afraid of, because we only get, as far as we know, we only get one shot here. So make it count and do the things that you want to do. That's it. That's a huge thing. I think a lot of people, and especially with the world as it is at the minute, with social media and online stuff, it's so easy to spread. This is not just spread negative stuff online. It's so easy to spread anything online at the minute, and that isn't going to change. The world is the world, so it's very easy for something to come back to you that so and so doesn't like you, or exactly. And I'm guilty of myself. I try and stay away from posting things on social media because it just never ends well. And the thing is, social media can be great, but it can also be very bad as well. And I think as well, I think opinions now. Like if you like barbecue base on your pizza and someone likes tomato, well, you're probably seen as a bad person for liking barbecue sauce on your pizza, or if you like cheese onion crisp and someone likes smoky bacon, it's the end of the world. Throw him out, shut the door. He's a bad guy if if that's what he's into. And there's very little room for discussion at the minute in the world. It's very much I'm right, you're wrong, and even if you disagree and you try and open that door to a conversation, then it just ends up in a slanging match, and you're never going to get anywhere. But again, we said we've both seen it firsthand, how quickly people just pile on stuff online as well. So the key thing is you're coming back, you're in a positive place. You've found, like I mentioned earlier, you've found those support networks, you've found what you need to do to be able to push forward, and you say, fingers crossed, you come back and set the world alight. And to the ones who might not agree or maybe dislike you, the best thing to do is kill them with kindness. That's what you need to do. You need to get in there, show them who you are, and make them realise what they're missing, including the women. I had to get that plug in there, didn't I? I am single still, by the way, so call me if you want to. That's at time of recording. You might have got at least 3 women when you actually watch this video, so just make sure you... No comment. The more the better. No, well, thank you very much for... Thank you for having me. Taking the time to sit with me and go through it. And he said, hopefully, we'll get more stuff like this out in future. Yeah, we need to have more of this. People just being open and honest, and hopefully help other people who are out there maybe suffering in silence. That's what the whole point of doing this is. So, let's keep it going. And we're on the 6th of September. And God help whoever's in the ring with me, because I'm coming in there, and God help yous. Oh, a promise there from the St. Helens Love Machine, and that is exactly how we're going to end it.